What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP. This is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. Woo! What a week, man. What a week on Twitter, bro. What a week on Twitter.
It's been something. It's been a minefield.
I ain't gonna lie, though. Like, there hasn't really been, like, a lot of stuff coming out. Obviously, there's been a writer's strike. There's been, obviously, things hurting Hollywood as of right now. But we never get any, short change of drama over there at DC. Marvel having its own issues, all that stuff. But I guess one part of Marvel that's not really having a lot of issues and I guess is actually looking to take off pretty soon is Sony's Marvel department. And it looks like they're giving us a release date for Venom 3. They gave us another release date in October of 2024. Keeping to the theme of Venom coming out every October. I don't know if you noticed, but Venom 2 came out October 2021. And then Venom 1 came out October 2018. So they've been keeping on this steady trend.
You know that.
Although the writer's strike has been happening, they're still going to be pushing forward. I guess pre-production has been in motion for a while. It's just when they're going to start the cameras, and I guess they're going to be starting pretty soon. Hearing also that we got sorry, his name is crazy. Chiwetel Ejiofor. I don't know. The dude that plays Mordor in fucking Doctor Strange. Goddamn his name. Sorry, dude. I butchered it. He also joined the cast. Things are ramping up to start filming pretty soon. I mean, are you excited for Venom 3? I mean, the last time we seen him was in the MCU for like a brief second. If you want to count that as the last time seeing him, I think that would consider it's not mechanically fair. Right.
Last time? Yeah, but that's not fair.
It was like a little cut scene.
It was a little thing, and then they threw him away. It wasn't worth anything to remember him for, unless you count being cheated, which I do. But regardless, I
look, his tone doesn't fit the MCU. Man.
I liked Venom 2. I like Let There Be Carnage. So I'm excited for this one also.
Venom 2 was kind of garbage. I mean, I'm okay. I'm like I said before, I will be on board as soon as they say Spider-Man is in this movie. They don't say Spider-Man's in this movie. I don't care about this movie.
Yeah, you never cared about these movies.
I liked the first one. The second one was kind of man. Though that one you can't even lie, bro. They had, and I don't know if this is Andy's fault. I know Andy Serkis was the one who directed the second one, and he said that he didn't want a lot of blood and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think it felt short because it wasn't as gruesome, and then the story was okay, but I don't think they really needed a love interest with Woody Harrelson's character. You know what I mean? Like, it could have just been him going crazy, because of the symbiote suit. Like, I felt like we could have got a different movie than what we got, and a better one at that. Venom 2 was just okay. I don't mind watching it again. It's just not something that I was like, yeah.
No, man, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed both of them. I liked Woody Harrelson as Carnage. Him and Eddie Brock, they kind of carried the movie for me. I can acknowledge the plot is kind of weak, but I still fuck with it. Really good. It's good.
You know what? I told you before that, like, you seem to manage to maneuver bad movies and shit like that. That's a lie. You embrace that shit. You embrace well, I guess you really just like superhero movies. I think that's just your thing. I think you're willing to look past, like, you're not willing to look past the bullshit of a normal movie. But if it's a superhero movie, you're like, I'm willing to look past that bullshit.
Well, it depends on the movie, because I mean, there's superhero movies I don't like. And there's some that I prefer more than others, but like when it's an average movie like this, I can just be like, yeah, like I understand.
What is one superhero movie you'd never watch again? You watched it one time, you're never watching it again.
You know what I'm gonna say. You know which one I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna need you to say it.
You want me to say it?
I'm gonna need you to say it.
The Suicide Squad.
You're smoking crack, bro, and
I'm
you're
not
okay with
saying it.
Morbius. I don't want to hear you.
I didn't say I'm okay with Morbius. You keep bringing that up. It's a guilty pleasure movie.
But you're okay with it.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
guilty pleasure. It's
you're-
everybody has a guilty pleasure movie.
That's why.
Exactly. So you
But
can't be like. You
but
can't
the
just be
worst
like,
movie on your list can't be better than the worst movie that you could see.
That doesn't make any
That
sense
makes
because it's not
perfect
my
sense.
best
That sounded-
movie.
That didn't sound.
It's bottom of the barrel stuff for me. Like if I ever just decide, hey, I need background noise, Morbius.
So if you ever go, well, hey, I need different background noise, and you pull out the Suicide Squad, you're going deeper than the barrel. You're going into like 6 feet under.
That's
shit
if I have
territory.
like nothing to watch.
You're like nothing. Streaming services aren't working. Nothing.
Like I'm just like
HBO Max, nothing's
like, I
working
gotta
but
turn
this
on
movie.
Turn on a James Gunn movie, Guardians or something, because I don't go back and rewatch those.
Yeah.
I can tell you I've only seen Morbius like twice, once in the theater and then once on streaming.
I've only seen it once, halfway. I don't even know if I finished that movie. But yeah, Venom 3 coming out. I mean, in October 24th. That's assuming that the writer's strike doesn't push this back, right? Because
a lot of them are being pushed back.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of things. Even over here on Deadpool's side, we're also hearing that, you know, Ryan Reynolds isn't allowed to, you know, ad lib or do anything like that. Somebody who was asked about it was Zazie Beetz, who was Domino in Deadpool 2. Very enjoyable character. I liked her. I was like, cool. Fucking me.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
She was talking to Decider for an interview, and she was basically asked, is production having some issues because, you know, Ryan Reynolds, due to the strike, he's not allowed to, you know, ad lib or do anything else. He's only allowed to do whatever's on the paper, and that's it. If he does anything more, he's not standing in solidarity, whatever. And I mean, Ryan Reynolds is America's sweetheart, and I don't think my heart can handle that if, you know, people try to reject them over him making a movie better, you know. But Zazie Beetz says, well, I'm actually not in Deadpool 3, so I don't know what they're doing about improvisation. I'm assuming they're probably taking a pause. I'm excited to watch it. But we've heard like a whole bunch of other characters are coming back, right? We heard Negasonic Teenage Warhead. We heard what's the metal dude's name? Colossus is coming back. The girlfriend to Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Even the dude with the mustache is coming back. The one that got mulched when he jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah.
But we're not hearing that Domino is not making a return to Deadpool 3. What is
maybe
that?
the
Is
movie's
that,
too big.
Yeah, and especially hearing all the cameos that might be showing
too
up.
big for her to show up. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with that. Like I know she was cool as Domino. I'm not knocking her performance or nothing like that. But if the movie's too stuffed, you kind of don't want to be a part of that, because if it train wrecks, then you know you weren't part of it.
I was gonna say, because this movie, Deadpool 3 at least, is shaping up to be like the MCU's answer to the multiverse thing. Because and it's funny too, because they came out with the first multiverse movie with Multiverse of Madness, and that movie was supposed to be the multiverse movie standards, you know what I mean? But then you have other movies doing it better, like Across the Spider-Verse, you know what I mean? The Flash is taking a stab at it as we speak, and it's like a dull knife. So this one seems to be having its own way with the multiverse, and yeah, maybe it being overstuffed might be a good like thing for her. But if it's not, and they actually nail this movie and it winds up being good, I would be upset that she didn't make an appearance.
Well, yeah, but again, I don't think. I think there's a lot more negatives to positives if she showed up. And even then, if this sets everything under the way, they're probably going to end up recasting Domino too. So
why would they recast her? They're bringing back everybody else.
They're bringing back cameos. They're not sticking around with all the other X-Men. I'd imagine she'd also get replaced.
Zazie Beetz? Why would she get replaced? No. Now you're taking a personal shot at me. No. Why would she get replaced?
That's what I imagine. If all the other X-Men were and are being replaced, I'd imagine she'd be too.
But they're not being replaced. Everybody's coming back. I even made it a point to say the dude with the mustache is coming back too. But she's probably not. Why would the dude with mustache, who only had like 5 minutes of screen time, come back over Zazie Beetz? And then you're more. It seems like you're more excited to see him than Zazie Beetz is Domino.
I don't even.
And that's mad disrespectful.
What was his name? Peter? I can't remember.
I think his name was Peter.
What do you call it? But
Peter.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's only the crew that was in the first one, and even then, we don't know how long they're gonna be in there before they start doing multiversal shenanigans. And then, if he ends up in the MCU, the X-Men will be recast and stuff.
Is it multiversal shenanigans or is it like time traveling shenanigans? Because we heard Mobius is gonna be in there, and that's TVA, that's time, but they deal with the multiverse, huh?
Yeah, an alternate timeline is an alternate universe.
MCU has confused me. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah,
they gave us like this big explanation, and then you have other places doing it like, oh, it's just a web, and then the Flash is doing it like, oh, it's just I could run through it. You know what I mean? Like, it's super easy. And then MCU, here they are like, oh, there's this and there's rules and there's this and that and whatever. I think that's why they're probably not, they're not as free-flowing and easygoing. I feel like having rules and restrictions. Multiverse is already a complex story to tell. I mean, if you notice all the multiverse movies, I mean, even like successful ones like No Way Home, like the story was kind of hurt because of like the cameos. Even though we like seeing them, it kind of hurts. You know what I mean? Yeah, they put these random cameos for like flash factor, and this is what I only bring. Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of does the multiverse right too. But I bring up Across the Spider-Verse because it's the most recent one in memory. But they do it right as well, and it doesn't seem like they have so many rules and stuff like that. I think their rule was just like, hey, you need to have canon events or things break down. You know what I mean? So if there's no canon events, things break down, and it's not so like complex like the MCU made it.
That's why the MCU is like a little more complicated, because if you guys remember back in Loki, what do you call it? They were like, oh, we have the main timeline, and then if you branch away from the main timeline, you get erased or eradicated, whatever the fuck. But then they'll say, oh, but the Avengers were meant to break the timeline to get the stones to beat Thanos, and it's only okay because they put the stones back. But make sense. Them taking out the stones is still kind of fucking with the timeline, unless that's supposed to happen, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then, but what did Loki? I can't remember what Sylvie was. What her world was destroyed for, but she was a girl. You know what I mean? Other than her being a woman. That's why I can't really remember what happened to her. But a lot of it is like Untamed Waters, because there's a lot of rules to it.
And there's only hopefully it doesn't get worse. I'm hoping Deadpool 3, since it is gonna be like another stab at the multiverse, that they kind of establish it as a more easygoing kind of thing, because hearing all these cameos come back, it sounds like it's gonna create a big old mess. So maybe it's gonna be a mess big enough that it's gonna break all the rules and stuff like that. I don't know. But I mean, if that's the way they go, and they just like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna do whatever, then I'm just gonna be like, hey, Marvel adapts quicker than other studios that we see. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. I want to see Domino back, so don't say that it'd be good without her, because
I didn't say it would be good without her.
No. That's the way you said it, though. You said it like that.
No, I didn't.
No. I heard you, and it recorded.
When the fuck did I say it would be good without her?
You were like, I like seeing Peter, but if she comes back, I don't care.
I didn't say that.
You basically said
no,
that.
I didn't.
There were some things that you said that basically went that way.
What?
Yeah.
If you take out words and reconstruct them, I heard this. No, that's not how that works.
That's basically what happened. Anyways, Superman and Lois. Okay, so we heard that they are getting renewed for another season at the CW.
Sick.
10 episode season.
Yeah.
Nothing more, but it comes with a cost. and it comes with a price. Now the budget has been, if it wasn't already small, it's even smaller than what it was. A lot of day one casts, about 7 cast members are not returning to the show. One cast member will be made a regular. That one person is Kudlitz, who plays Lex Luthor, will be becoming a reoccurring role. But others who have been season 1 alumni, like Dylan Wash, Emmanuel Cherokee, Eric Valdez, Wolf Park, Sophia Hasmick, Taylor Buck, Indy Narvet, and Michael Kuditz will not be returning for season 4 of The Flash. And I mean, you see these
Superman and Lois, not The Flash.
Oh, sorry, oopsie. Superman and Lois. You see them? You recognize them? I feel like I've seen a few of them in clips. He was the metal dude, right?
He's still,
yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few of them. I saw the first season, so I recognize some of these people. I haven't seen the show in so long, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if, like, you know, they made a big impact or not. Would you be able to tell me?
I've only seen up to the second season because I was waiting for the third one to finish up, but I recognize most of them. I can't say it's a total bummer or a total loss because I mean, you got your stars, and paying these people to act and do superhero things is kind of expensive for TV. But it's cool they're keeping Lex Luthor. That would make sense. He's Superman's big bad, and they've been kind of doing other things besides him. And I want to know what his performance is like. I want to get around to that.
It seems like we're going to get, for this season at least, is going to be kind of like a singular story. You know how, like, in TV shows you have a lot of supporting actors because, you know, a lot of shows have to work with being grounded and, you know, just when it works right and you have a good TV show, the script is supposed to be immaculate. A TV show script is supposed to be so good because it's not a 2-hour movie. It's about 10, 15 episodes of different things.
A good show needs a good script to balance out all of its characters is basically what you were saying. So for it to be like, I guess I'll bring up the Flash, the first season, right?
Okay.
You expect one for Barry to get his powers and round out his arc. You expect side characters like Cisco and Caitlin to also round out their characters. The villain in that one is Reverse Flash, and you expect all of them to kind of just wrap it all. Grant Gustin's thing in the first one is keeping his secret as the Flash, saving people and whatnot. Eobard's whole goal is to get back to his timeline while also terrorizing Barry. Caitlin, she misses her husband Raymond, and then Cisco. I can't really remember Cisco's plot, so we're not even going to bother with that over there. Mm-hmm. By the end of the season 1, Barry gets to be the Flash, or no, yeah. Barry's whole thing is that he wants to be able to prove his father's innocence. So he tried to go back and prove it. It didn't work out, so he comes back. Eobard doesn't get to go to his timeline, so they figure out, like I've told you before, he dies. Caitlin gets to remarry or she gets back together with her husband, and then Cisco's, like, it's supposed to basically round out everyone's arc by the end of season 1. And if you have time for a season to wrap it up and bring up season 2, you bring up what happens in season 2 at the very last episode. Most shows do that, and then they don't see the light of day for a second season. But this one's been kind of living, which is crazy.
Yeah, and it seems like the characters kind of expanded more and more. Like I said, TV show just needs good writing, right? Mm-hmm. So as long as they're able to have good writing and have a consistent cast, that's usually how shows thrive. But since this one's going in the direction of having a singular villain like Lex Luthor for season 4, does that mean that and we're cutting a lot of side characters? Does that mean, are we just going to get more focused within the family? Not really so much side plots, but more story driven, like within the family, and then, you know, Superman versus Lex Luthor. You know what I mean? Like a movie kind of thing. And if that's the case, how are they going to stretch that out to like 10 episodes?
That's the tough part, because the Flash has also done this where it's a lot of like, oh, I know the hero can catch this guy now, but they have to prolong it because they got another 5 episodes left.
Yeah.
Which I was really tired of. That's why I kind of quit around season 5 or so. But with this one, we know Lex Luthor kind of outsmarts Clark at every turn. You know what I mean? He beats him with his brain type shit.
Yeah.
So I can believe that when I hear it on screen and see it on screen, where it's just like, okay, Superman won't punch this dude, but at the same time, we know Lex kind of deserves that punch.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're probably going back to like season 1 vibes, because I think the plot there was also kind of small and contained. It was because while they were ramping up all this superhero stuff, and like basically what they did was Smallville, saying that kryptonite is in the ground or whatever, and they can make clones of Superman and whatnot. Yeah. It was kind of like that, but now I think they said we're going back to Metropolis, which is it's cool.
What's season 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, you don't have to worry about them on the farm or whatever else, and you don't have to worry about all these other things. So I think it would be much smaller and contained to just have Superman fight his main villain now.
So we're getting basically like a Superman-centered story. Super family.
Superman, yeah, is Superman and his kids now.
Yeah, like super family kind of centered story against Lex Luthor. And damn, I wish I'm gonna have to watch the show, because it's 4 seasons tells me that this show is probably good storytelling wise. CGI wise, I've seen it, and God. So
they keep hyping up that fight that goes on in season 3. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah,
where he fights one of the dudes. I forget who.
Yeah, they were like smashing through buildings. They were like,
oh, this looks like a movie, and I'm like, where?
Yeah, I seen
it. Looks good for TV, but where is the the movie you're talking about?
If it had the budget, probably it would have probably been a little bit more movie. But yeah, I could see it if it had the budget and maybe a little bit more use of camera angles. It would have been better, because if I remember, it was just more like you see one angle and they just kind of, and then one angle is there, you see them going up, another angle you see them flying that way, and it's like it would be cool, kind of like recent memory is even counting Superman Returns too, but Man of Steel, like they use different camera angles to show how Superman does movement and stuff like that. Even in Superman Returns, they did that with that airplane scene and stuff like that. So yeah, I could say it would have been movie worthy if they would have added those 2 things, but it is a CW show, so I don't expect that from them.
Yeah.
But moving on, something that is going to be expected is another either a box of tissues or tomatoes to throw at the movie screen, because we're also getting another live action animal movie from Disney. All right, and we are getting a live action Bambi coming from Oscar winner Sarah Polley. She won an Oscar for doing A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. That is that Mr. Rogers movie. I don't know if you heard of it, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, she wound up winning an Oscar for that one. She's going to be directing this movie. The writers that penned Maleficent 2 is going to be penning this Bambi adaptation. And all I can say is, Disney, please fucking stop, dude. Please fucking stop, man.
I can't take these hyper-realistic animals anymore,
am I going to have to see a deer die in real life?
How are you going to convey emotion that way? How are you going to make the deer cry? I don't know. These hyper-realistic animals aren't doing you justice. You should stop now while you still can. Just be like, yeah. We had an idea, but it isn't working out, and then scrap it. Just slide it under the table.
A Bambi movie coming into fruition. And you made a noise to the people that made the pin Maleficent 2, and that movie was not that bad, bro. It was okay.
Bad enough to not give it a third film.
I'd say it was on par with like Alice in Wonderland 2. Like I don't think Alice in Wonderland 2. It wasn't that good, no. But it wasn't better than the first one. Kind of like Maleficent was. Maleficent was a good adaptation. I think that one was like that point that Disney should strive for every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Alice in Wonderland 1 was the first one too. And then, obviously the second one was good, but it just wasn't as good as the first one, if that makes sense. The same thing with Maleficent too. It just wasn't, for me, it wasn't as good as the first one.
Okay.
So I don't see that it's a problem. They would just have to, really sell that realism, because, the biggest heartstring puller in this movie is the beginning where, Bambi's mother dies. And yeah, man, what are they going to put in the script? Deer starts wailing because it's dying. It's going to be like,
it's going to sound like a real deer. Nah, man, I don't know. I can't vibe with these anymore. Not after The Little Mermaid. The hyper realism animals throw it off. Like, you can't tell me it has to be that realistic, so where you can't at least give them real faces to convey that emotion. You need real animals. You know what I mean?
If a real hunter kills his Bambi or kills the mom, I better see him drag the body. I better see him cook it.
Just take away from Bambi's story.
I'm just saying, if they're doing realism, they got to do it right.
Just take away from Bambi's perspective. Follow the guy for a cool 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then, we know Bambi's crying. We know Bambi's upset. And then, obviously he's going to run into Thumper and whatever. We'll get that. Oh, that's one thing. Thumper. They're going to ruin Thumper.
They ruin a lot of things.
I can't take that one.
Disney
if they ruin Thumper for me, bro, I can't take that one.
Disney needs to stop with these live actions. Said it in our Little Mermaid review, but I'm done with these. I don't even think I plan to see this. Streaming. Wait for streaming.
I'm waiting for streaming. After the Little Mermaid, that shit disappointed me so hard. I'm waiting.
You hear that, Disney? You robbed us, and we don't want to be robbed again.
Yeah,
see you
right.
on your platform.
Yeah. Put your gun away, sir. We're not gonna take the bait. Put the gun away. Yeah, I'm waiting for streaming for this one. Little Mermaid put a bad taste in my mouth. Actually, a few movies put a bad taste in my mouth, and this was honestly the straw that broke the camel's back. So I'll wait for streaming. It'll be there when it be there, and that's it. I'm sure we'll see a bunch of leaks and stuff before then anyway. So, and everybody's gonna just be like, "Wow, look how real this looks." This Bambi looks like a roadkill right now. You know what I mean? Moving on though, over here at Marvel, we have Harrison Ford playing dumb, maybe too dumb, because he was confronted and asked if we're going to see the Red Hulk, the alter ego to Ross's. Obviously, Bruce Banner has the Hulk. Mm-hmm. Theodore Ross got Red Hulk. And Harrison responds very confused. So let's check it out.
I'm from comicbook.com. So I think I would get straight up fired if I did not ask you about the recent photo from the Captain America set of you. And you had the eagle-eyed viewers noticed you were wearing ripped pants. Might we be seeing a Mr. Ford as the Red Hulk?
What is the Red Hulk?
It is Thaddeus Ross's alter ego. He's gonna Hulk out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You knew?
I know nothing.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, someone's gonna tell you, and I hope it happens.
Well, it may or may not.
I love Harrison Ford. I love Harrison Ford, man. He loves the bullshit. I know it's probably Marvel contracts telling him to hush it up, and we know we did see those ripped pants. I don't know if he could be bullshitting. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I really wanted you to look at his face, because he looked like actually genuinely confused, but then at the same time he's an actor, so I don't know if he's acting confused. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Did they tell him like, hey, these are the scenes you're gonna act out, and we'll take care of the rest CGI? Is he not being put in a mocap suit like how Bruce Banner is? Will we see the first all CGI Hulk in the MCU?
That would make sense. It would make sense, because he's too old for mocap, I think.
And this is what I kind of told you, right? Like they don't necessarily need him in a mocap, because maybe they are gonna get mocap, but maybe from somebody who's younger, who can do movement,
mm-hmm.
and then he's just gonna be there for the scenes that are just like him standing there, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird transition, because when he shrinks, depending on if he's Red Hulk, when he shrinks, he'd go back to Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So they have to make that transition look seamless.
Unless they do what they did in She-Hulk, where they're like transform off screen, because we don't have it in the budget. If they do that in a movie, I'm mad.
Like, oh man, we wasted on this huge explosion. But what happened to Ross? He's just laying on the ground.
Legs all spread eagle.
Yeah, no. But yeah, he looked confused. But I think that's probably it's either because he doesn't know who Red Hulk is, or like comic book wise, or I'm like losing my train of thought, or he really just has to act like that and be hushy hush.
Let me find out that like it probably that where he's like he just knows him as Ross, and they probably told him he's gonna turn into a monster or whatever, and they probably showed him, and he's just like Ross. And then her calling it out like Red Hulk, he probably just didn't genuinely
like,
probably didn't know the name.
I like how he asks his cast member for Indiana Jones, "You know about this?"
Yeah. She was just like, oh, I don't know.
I had no idea about this. I'm not even in the movie, guy.
Right. I don't even know if this movie's gonna do good.
I like how he said may or may not. That was nice.
Mayo.
Just leave it in the air, Harrison Ford.
Well, yeah. What we already know. All the leaks and the scoopers already told us. It's just more like how they're gonna do it. Like I said, he's already old enough. He doesn't need to be in a mocap suit. They could just easily get a stunt double for that. And they would have to for like facial work, unless they're just gonna like scan his face and put him on the Red Hulk. Then they would have to have him in the booth for facial work too. But I don't know. Can they get somebody else to just do the movements and just copy and paste his face on there?
Yeah, they can.
Might as well, right? Because he's already being copy and pasted regardless. No, we'll have to see how that one turns out. But him being confused is like, at first I was like, man, it's just I can't tell whether he's lying or not. I can't tell. He's genuinely confused. That's what I'm saying. Like, was Fahi like play dumb? He sees this clip. He's like, not that dumb. What the fuck? Too dumb, bro.
You won't get the comic book people on your ass, bro.
Do you not know the comic community? Also, moving on though, something that apparently this director is drawing a line in the sand at is killing animals, and that's Quentin Tarantino. So the man who made Pulp Fiction, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Inglourious Basterds, The Django Unchained, Kill Bill Part 1 and 2, The Hateful Eight, From Dusk Till Dawn, Death Proof, Reservoir Dogs, etc., draws the line at killing animals. And this is what he says about that. He says, I have a big thing about killing animals in movies. That's a bridge I can't cross. Insects too, unless I'm paying to see some bizarro documentary. I'm not paying to see real death. Part of the way that this all works is that it's all just make-believe. That's why I can't stand the violent scenes, because we're all just fucking around. He says, some animals, some dogs, some llama, some fly, some rat, doesn't give a fuck about your movie. I'd kill 1 million rats, but I don't necessarily want to kill one in a movie or see one killed in a movie, because I'm not paying to see real death. Almost always, it's not just the violence that I have a problem with. There's usually an incompetence factor there. What do you get from that?
Does he mean like actually kill them? Does he not know that dog actors exist, or does he mean like their death scenes in general? Like John Wick, we know the dog isn't really dead. They kill him for movie purposes.
Yeah, I think that's too real for him.
Does that?
He probably had a pet when he was younger.
So, just to kind of analyze this fully, you're telling me racism, killing people, almost pedophilia. There's a bunch more. If you've seen his movies, you know his tone. You're telling me that's okay, but killing a dog for a quick scene is where you draw the line. Where the fuck? It's a nice line to have. But I think after racism and, all this other shit, you kind of have to look back and be like, maybe killing a dog for this guy's to go haywire on a whole establishment makes sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I don't know if that sits right. That doesn't make much sense.
Maybe he's just an animal lover. Maybe he's somebody that just wants to. Oh yeah, PETA. He's just an animal lover and doesn't like seeing those things. I know, like, when you see like Old Yeller, like that movie. I know when you see like Marley and Me, like that shit makes me cry, bro. Like that shit's so sad. It's like real hurt and it sucks, but like maybe that hurts them to that point. But I'm just like, bro, like you've done so much. Like you gave a man cardiac arrest from just hand movements. Isn't death real regardless? You know, isn't a human death and a dog death real regardless in real life? You know what I mean? And yeah, I get it. You guys are all just, you know, fucking around when you guys are, you know, making movies and stuff like that. But aren't you still fucking around with dogs? You know, making a movie with, you know, a dead dog in it.
That's why.
It's not like
so. Then does he not?
What if like he always thought like if there's a scene where he has to put a bullet in a dog's brain, he actually has to do it. Like he's just like
he's just been killing dogs.
Like I don't want to do
that's
this.
That's why it doesn't sound very clear. Like killing dogs for movie purposes. We're not actually killing dogs. They're dog paid actors. Like play dead.
What do they pay them?
And then
with?
like they treats dog. They're treats.
Oh wow.
Treats and all the.
We need equal rights for dogs. They need equal pay.
The fanciest of what is it? Dog parks and what is it? What do you call it when
they
a dog
put mad
gets...
bitches in his trailer?
Yeah, exactly. Dogs do cocaine, no, in their movie trailers. But no, I imagine that's what. So what? He just doesn't like Pet Sematary. He doesn't like John Wick. Those kinds of movies. Would he not like Marley and Me? Would he be like, "Damn, this is too real"?
Yeah, this is sad. It's making me so sad right now.
Nah,
I
bro.
mean, what? But isn't that what you want? Like, I feel like maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 3 too. He probably won't watch. Because I heard like there was a lot of like. I've been hearing like there's a lot of animal cruelty in that one, and it's keeping a lot of people from watching that movie.
Not me. I just don't like it. No, but what do you call it? Yeah, no. I really wish I could go in depth with this one because I want to know. Like I'd want to personally ask him like, hey, so what movies just don't you like? And then if he lists off Pet Sematary and John Wick, and he'd be like, well, all right then, it's all dog deaths. I guess that makes sense.
I mean, if you got to draw the line in the sand, I guess right there should be the spot.
Don't stop at racism. Stop right there. Killing animals.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought all deaths were just real deaths, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. But coming up to our last couple topics, we have the Flash right here. Okay, so hey, calm down. All right, I already see you. Your fist balling up.
This is some bullshit. No.
Yeah. You sweating, bro.
I'm sweating because it's hot in here.
Oh damn. So the Flash director comes out saying that his film looks weird and the CGI was intended to look the way that it did after a lot of complaints and backlash from the premiere day Wednesday. So a lot of people want to go watch the movie, or what we hear is a lot of people. I don't know. We gotta still wait for the numbers to come out. Mm-hmm. Apparently on its Thursday preview, it made about 9.7 million, which is not very good on a Thursday night preview. We'll have to wait to see what the numbers come out to by the end of the weekend. But as of right now, a lot of people's biggest complaint is the CGI in the film. Now, we haven't personally seen it, but we've seen leaks and clips, and we've obviously seen trailers, and a lot of the trailers, WBD have put out a statement. Andy Muschietti has said that the CGI will look better and it will be more polished up when the film comes out. And a lot of people are saying that none of that is true, that it looks exactly the same as the trailers do. Some people say some scenes even look worse. And how were they approved and how did it make it into a film? Damn. IO9 says, when Muschietti was speaking to IO9 podcast, we are in the perspective of the Flash. Everything is distorted in terms of light and textures. We enter this water world, which is basically Barry's POV. It was part of the design, so it looks a little weird to you. That was intended. And let's just call it what it is. That's a fucking excuse, right? a fucking excuse and a poor excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You literally had the leeway, and when this came out, I busted up laughing. You heard me laughing, and you were like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And I told you, I hate that so much as a fucking cop out because you didn't even have the balls to just say everything. You know what I mean? Like, this is the style of the movie that I was going for or something like that. The whole movie. No, he goes as far as to say some. So some scenes were intended, but which scenes weren't? And why do they look dog shit? You know what I mean? So, to me, I'm just like, you had a way out, but you only took a slight step in that direction. You didn't, you just put like a toe outside the door. You didn't, jump all the way out. I don't know. He had the way to get out, but he just chose not to do it.
Yeah. And it really makes you think because even in the trailers, I've said it before, but some scenes look more polished than others. But I imagine it's those big ensemble pieces or those small scenes where Barry's just running. I bet that whole multiverse scene looks funky as fuck. You know what I mean? But that's because it's a big ensemble piece. I think he means those. If I really wanted to try and defend it. But even then, you should have just been like, all of it. I was trying to go for this. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because even Marvel doesn't do that. Oh, you know why Iron Man's helmet looks this funky? It's because, you know what I mean? They try to bullshit. But
some of them is shot through the perspective. You know what I mean?
Like it doesn't work.
Now, I know why the CGI is funky. We all know why the CGI is funky. The fact that they refuse to come out and say it and save face, it's dumb. Because I could tell you right now why it's funky. It's because they had 2 different or 3 different visions from the birth of conception. All right, Rick Fuyama was supposed to direct the first version of the film. That wound up getting switched out through the different paths of directors that they had to go through and eventually land on Andy Muschietti. He was tasked with the relaunching of the franchise, you know what I mean, of the DCU, whatever at the time they wanted to call it. That led to a certain ending. Then we got a call. They got a call. Hey, Walter Hamada out. James Gunn and Peter Safran in. We need a new direction. Hangs up the phone, gets another call. Hey, this is James Gunn. Blue Beetle. I need you to fucking change these movies. Blue Beetle. And then so, move on forward. They had to reshoot the third act. They probably had to reshoot a lot of key points in the movie that led up to the very ending. And so that whole third act, having to reshoot it a second time or, having to bring different people in because I don't even think we heard Michael Shannon was being brought in until later on into the filming. You know what I mean? We were hearing that the big bad was supposed to be Reverse Flash or like
Dark Flash.
Dark Flash. There you go.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
So the different iterations that it had to go to, and they say it was like about 220 million to make this movie.
Yeah. But
with reshoots and having to redo everything VFX wise, even the little bit of VFX that it did so far, a lot of speculation says that they have like a film on their hands with marketing about $330 million in the hole. So they, in order to break even, they would have this is the same thing that happened with Black Adam. They were in the hole. It was close to 300 million. They were in the hole like about 310 because of marketing. They were like about 290 with Black Adam's budget or whatever, and because of like marketing, it went up to like 310 million, and it barely recouped. It made over like 100 million or like 1 million or something like that. It made like about 400 and something million in the box office. So it just wound up barely covering and making a little bit of change on the side. And this movie, it just looks like it's not going to do that, especially because of the word of mouth that the CGI is fucking terrible. People are just going to wait for streaming or whenever they could watch it on TV, I'm guessing.
And to say it's through the Flash's perspective is crazy because we have Flash scenes where it looks better than this. You know what I mean? First person or whatever doesn't change the fact that while we see it from a third person perspective, if you were to do the camera angle and put it into Barry's perspective and first person, you would still be seeing what we see just on a grander scale. You would see the better colors and whatnot, not blurriness or whatever the fuck you got going on. Because again, we have better Flash scenes. Hell, the first 3 seasons of the CW do it better than what I've seen for the movie. Zack Snyder does it. He's the blueprint. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But we have better Flash scenes.
I'm just saying that one scene at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League shows his perspective perfectly, and even that scene where he's running happy at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, shows his perspective running fast. You know what I mean, as well. So I mean, it was done pretty well, and they kind of established that it doesn't look like animation when he goes into the Speed Force. You know what I mean, like, or when he's running as fast as he is. You know what he called what Andy Muschietti called Grant Gustin's style of running? Butterfly running, because he like goes like this, where he likes Ezra's running because it's more fluid and like more smoother. I forgot what he called Ezra's style of running, but he called Grant Gustin's butterfly.
Ezra's running was a product and selective choice from Zack Snyder.
Hey, stop gargling his balls, yeah?
No. No, no, but what do you call it? For real. Like that was something he used and was taken from by him, because I'm pretty sure if they would have changed the running, that would have been a whole other kind of worms. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this doesn't work. I'm not hearing good things from the CGI department, which is funny because everyone is like, "Well, the plot's good, but the CGI is," ugh. And I'm like, "Well, that can be a fine mixture, I guess, but if it's not visually appealing, you're not going to want to sit through it for long."
Yeah, because, I mean, people are different, right? A lot of people are like, me, I'm a visual person, right? I like to see visuals. If it looks cool, I'm going to fucking watch that shit. A story can keep me compelled, too. Like how you said before, we're like, we can watch old Star Wars movies like A New Hope and stuff because we know it's gonna look like shit, but it's a product of its time. This movie should be a product of its time. We've gotten so far, so advanced with CGI that even the movies that movies like Marvel, like the whole Phase 4 slate, they were having issues with CGI, and even their CGI looks more clean than the CGI than that we're getting in the Flash. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre that they walked backwards with it, and canceling Batgirl and everything. You would have thought that money would have been used to make this movie look good, especially with as much as they were writing on this. You're fucking telling me Tom Cruise looked at this movie, saw the CGI, and was like, "This is the movie we need right now"?
Well, no, I'm sure he meant the plot. That's not fair. Don't do Tom like that.
No. I'm doing Tom like that.
Don't do Tom like that.
No, I'm doing Tom like that.
Don't do Tom like that. He's a crazy motherfucker. He will jump from a plane into your home. Like
through my window, down the chimney, whatever. Fucking, what was his name? Yeah, Zaslav saying that. James Gunn saying this is the best movie of the year. But visually, it's not. So how can it be the best movie of the year? You know what I mean? Like, you have compelling stories that give you a great story and great visuals along with it. And I fought with somebody on Twitter about this. It was stupid. It was dumb. But like, it's a point to say, yeah, we can have good movies with bad CGI. But the point is, and yeah, we can have mediocre movies. But the point is, it's not to consume mediocrity. It's to aim towards fucking golden status movies. You know what I mean? Like, you want, your intention as a director should always be, I want to be a classic. You know what I mean? Regardless of what the box office says, I want people to come back and be like, this movie is the movie that, I fucking love. You know what I mean? Maybe it was slept on at the time. Maybe it finds some new love later on. You know what I mean? Like, eventually the movie that is great is going to find the love it deserves. It just takes time. Sometimes you're ahead of your time. Sometimes the box office doesn't match the vision. You know what I mean? It happens that way. But if you have a good movie that you can look back on, this movie, I've said it before, it looks like a one and done for me. I don't know how many times I might be revisiting this movie. Now, I haven't seen the movie. So if it changes my mind and it actually does that, that'd be fucking crazy.
It would indeed. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know how to take this movie anymore. I don't know how to take it. The CGI and that one leak. that we saw and talked about, I don't know if I got it in me anymore. The steam's gone. I don't know.
the fight. Damn, you sound so defeated.
This was it. This is my movie. This whole year I was looking forward to DC stuff.
This is his doomsday.
And now it's all crumbling around me because this stuff just isn't working out no more.
Yeah, see? If you would have just been with me, you would have been at peace. Now you're going through the 5 stages of grief.
You would have
solo.
You would have been.
I already went through it.
Exactly.
You
were ready to stop after I don't even know when.
Black Adam.
That was one movie. That was 2 movies ago.
Yeah, after Black Adam, DC has really fallen that far for me. After Black Adam, what? Because Aquaman, Birds of Prey, all those movies were kind of like cool with me, but like they weren't living up. And then I was like, oh, Black Adam's really gonna bring something back. And then with the drama and everything like that, it makes it worse. So yeah, I was checked out then, and I was willing to give this one a chance because you were like, nah, man, this movie's gonna be good. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. But now that we're hearing that, yeah, like I said, the people are saying the story's good, but they just can't get past the visuals. You know, and maybe there is some people out there who can get past the visuals and find that good story in the bottom of all that.
I'm seeing 10 out of 10s on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen
some people.
I've seen 10s out of 10s too, and I was like, really? And then I seen somebody put like a 9 out of 10. And I was like, really? You just drop it a point for bad CGI or what? Like that CGI is atrocious.
If it's bad CGI,
some of the scenes in the trailers that they even showed us, those scenes are atrocious, bro.
Yeah.
I hate that scene where he's like, no. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like he's just standing there and the shading doesn't even match. And if that's what the final product looks like, it's gonna be crazy. Even those cameos that we talked about the other day too, like those shits are disgusting and they don't even work. You know what I mean? And I know people are saying, oh, you gotta watch it on the big screen. You know, a phone camera in a theater isn't doing it justice. Yeah, no, but you know, you
get the idea.
You get the idea.
A new phone these days takes crisp pictures. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, my iPhone takes crispy pictures.
Exactly. You don't pay for 3 cameras and get shit. So I'm just saying, or 3 different lenses.
No,
not a camera.
I was about to say. I looked at your phone real quick. I was like, does he have an Android? I was like, nah. You give me blue bubbles.
Samsung has like 4 cameras now too.
It don't even matter.
Or lenses, whatever.
It don't even matter. Androids are just a no-no.
Yeah, but that's not the point you were making.
I don't.
If you're arguing phones, that's different.
I don't want to
hear
it.
But you said it like they don't have the cameras, but they do have cameras.
You've been muted.
It's some bullshit.
That's right. Moving on though. We will be watching the movie. It's coming up here. We'll get to it. We're just not
eventually
in a rush. We're not in a rush with this one. Unfortunately. Josh was in a rush at first.
It used to be.
He wanted to get opening day tickets.
I did, because I want the buckets or whatever they got going on.
But it sounds like the buckets will still be there over the weekends. all full of dust. They're going to be like, oh,
you want them?
Somebody's here from the Flash.
Dust them off.
Oh, my God. Anyways, moving on to our last topic. Now, we recently watched the first Distraction, right, Josh?
Yes, we did.
The second one's coming out. Chris Hemsworth is hyping it up. It's actually out now. We gotta watch that. We gotta get on it. But after we record our Extraction 1 review, that's coming out this Saturday. So if you guys want to listen to that, go ahead and hit those notifications. Make sure that you guys are keeping up when we drop that. But we're hearing that in this second film, Chris Hemsworth is putting on a 21-minute fight scene that took about 6 weeks to film and about 400 extras. This is Sam Hargrave doing that one scene, that driving scene for the 12-minute fight scene. That you were like, oh, how did he get the camera to go into the car like that? You remember?
Yeah.
So Chris Hemsworth is saying that this is the most challenging film that he's done. You know, we heard that he was set on fire at one point. I'm assuming it's within this 21-minute fight scene. 400 extras, 6 weeks of shooting, 14-hour days. Man, Chris Hemsworth. And you know what? And he has that, that disease as well, right? That, what was it?
I can't remember.
I don't remember what he has either. I don't know. I don't think it was Alzheimer's, was it?
No. I want to say no. I'm not too sure. I can't remember.
It was like an early stage of something.
Yeah, I can't remember, and that's why he was kind of putting a halt on acting.
Yeah.
Or he's putting a slow on his roles, I guess you can say.
But also straining his body with these roles because 14-hour days, having to do hand-to-hand combat, being lit on fire, having a you've seen the action scenes that came with the first movie, and that movie is just insane. Like the handwork and the amount of like extra oomph you got to put in there in order to show that shut up in order to show that realism is crazy. Now go ahead.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I had valuable information.
Now you could give it. Now you could give it. Now that I'm done talking.
I don't even want to read.
But
this.
I want to know.
No. We'll go it. He went through tests. This is about Chris Hemsworth's little diagnosis. He went through blood tests and he found out he's 8 to 10 times likelier to develop Alzheimer's than the general population. He has 2 copies of the gene APOE4, thereby making him more vulnerable to the disease. That's what made him want to take a small hiatus from acting and stuff. Same with the Thor movies and all that.
Yeah. So he's prone to it, so he can get it. Like he's more at risk.
Yeah. So maybe he's trying to do either he takes it slow now, but I doubt it because he kind of pumped out Extraction 2 kind of quickly, or he's trying to do like a Bruce Willis and just get out as many movies before something happens and he actually gets it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, he's still young. I think he has a lot of time to do that. I think it's more like when you hear, one day you're just gonna forget everything. You know what I mean? Like when you hear that, that's just more likely gonna hit you. It's something that really changes your perspective on life. I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean? Because when Bruce Willis found out, he found out late. You know what I mean? He didn't have early signs like how Chris Hemsworth was fortunate to do because he was doing that whole Discovery documentary, and they put him through those tests and stuff like that. So, with Bruce Willis, that was kind of like his switch. Like, oh, I gotta make as much movies as I can. You know what I mean? With Chris Hemsworth, at least, he has the Marvel movies to fall back on. The residuals on that, and on top of that, these movies that he's doing that. And keeping himself in shape for these movies is probably going to help prolong that disease even more because, the more you're in shape, the more healthy you are. Hopefully, I'm assuming it's going to make it a less of an impact and, help with a little bit of resistance, even though he's prone to it. And then eventually, maybe when he's older, he'll eventually get to that point where he's just going to pump out some movies and stuff like that, but that's just assuming if he doesn't feel secure with those Marvel checks, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna be coming in over and over.
Well, who knows? He decided not to come back for a while, so. But yeah, I like the Extraction for the most part. Again, we'll just go and do a full deep dive review, but can't wait to see it. They lit his ass on fire. You don't get to like Chris Hemsworth on fire unless you're doing something dope as fuck.
Yeah. You can only dress them up in weird clothing and have them around children with lightning bolts. And Jane Foster. Yeah, that movie was weird. It's always a breath of fresh air to see these people out of their Marvel roles because you can see what they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really shows that they were like hindered in those movies.
Yeah, like you get acting chops wise and everything. Like it turns different now. Some of them, because like I said, Robert Downey Jr. I don't know what it is, but like it seems like he's having a hard time being like relevant outside of Iron Man, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where like Chris Hemsworth, he made the documentary, he did all that stuff, and it's like now he's on the second movie that everybody's recognizing as, on par with like the John Wick franchise, and John Wick is like 4 movies in, you know what I mean? Like it just, you can tell the difference when, actors are getting work and, doing all these extra movies and they show those chops. Scarlett Johansson with that, with Adam Driver in that one movie when they showed, that emotional, like
that
fucking,
movie was sad.
Yeah, that movie was crazy. Like the chops that they have outside of these movies, it does show how they could be hindered by superhero movies.
Yeah. And, maybe RDJ is picky, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm just reading what I've seen, but he could be like a real diva. You know what I mean? From just interviews and shit that we've seen. So I imagine he's just like picky, and he wants to reach that status that he thinks he once was, where he was kind of in a lot of movies at the time. But maybe the people are just like, well, I don't know, because you were just Iron Man for a long ass time.
Yeah. It's hard to scrub that image out of people's faces too.
Oppenheimer though.
Yeah, because he's gonna be in that one,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we seen him in a few movies, but
Dr. Dolittle.
yeah, I think the best one, well, during his Marvel career, I'm assuming, yeah, because that movie came out during his Marvel career, was Due Date. Like that was like the best movie. I feel like that one and the Lawyer one that you talked about the other day too.
Yeah, that one's good.
That one's a good one too. But yeah, 21-minute fight scene. Exhausted. I know like I get exhausted just, walking across my house. So having to fight 14-hour days is just sounds, whew. Hats off to you, Chris Hemsworth, and I can't wait to see Extraction 2. We gotta watch that soon.
Yeah.
Are you like, now that you've seen it, because last time we talked about this, last time we talked about it on the pod, you didn't watch it, and I know we're gonna do a review on it, so I don't want you to go too much into detail. But like, would you say it's on par with John Wick?
Yes. I want to say yeah. I want to say it's on par with the first one. Actually, the first two, because the second one I think is a little bit duller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it's catching up, kind of quickly.
Okay. Yeah. It's good to see a stunt coordinator in the director's chair, because you can see what kind of movie is pumped out then. You know what I mean? Especially with like action scenes.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows the angles because they've been in those trenches will be able to give you a better action scene than somebody who thinks that this would be a good angle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could tell the difference. I feel, especially with like comparing it to John Wick, because like I said, I'm only comparing it to that because I see a lot of people comparing Extraction to John Wick. But like comparing it to that, like camera angles wise, and those one shots where you see hand-to-hand combat and the camera moving or whatever, like that, the difference in the filmmaking is a big thing for sure.
I feel like Netflix should start, like, I know you could probably find all the like clips on YouTube, but Netflix should start doing bloopers and stuff to this sort of thing. Like movies.
What happened to bloopers at the end of movies? Where like, people would, even in like serious movies, they would have like bloopers at the end where they try to deliver a serious line and they just start laughing or whatever, and they just, you know what I mean? Like, do you think that movies just stopped doing that because people couldn't take movies seriously after that? I wouldn't
Probably.
think so.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just to preserve the vision, yeah. But I don't know. I feel like after a serious movie, when the credits are rolling and you see them laugh and stuff, like, that kind of brings you back. Like, yeah, these people are just actors reading lines. And they can really put on a good performance. Even when the animated movies did it.
Yeah.
Like Toy Story 2, when they used to do that. Like that was, like, they were cool. I wish they would bring those back. But I mean, like, behind the scenes shit.
Yeah.
For Netflix movies would be cool too.
Yeah, because I see a lot of like behind the scenes reels where like like the cast of Inception where they're all hanging out and they're laughing and shit like that, and it's fun to see. It really humanizes the actors for sure.
And like Disney Plus has a lot of it too, behind the WandaVision and whatever else.
They're doing it for the Marvel stuff a lot now.
Yeah, and like I wish Netflix would dive into that, because I'd want to. I mean,
I wish Lucasfilm would do that.
Yeah,
they need to do that shit too, because there's a lot of like, well, I think they started doing it with The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and then if you get the movies, you can see it on there, but not as in depth as you would, like if they put out like an actual special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an hour-long special, just to be like, oh, this is how we did the lightsabers, and here's costume design. Because that was one of my big things when I would watch the Spider-Man movie, the first one a lot. Like I'd go back, I'd rewatch the second disc, and they would talk about in depth like how they made the suit and the webbing, and then the second one, same thing, how they changed the webbing and things like that. Like I like those sort of things.
Yeah. It's good to watch. I like it.
Yeah,
too.
it's interesting stuff. Like the behind the scenes stuff is cool.
Yeah, and especially like how they make movies and stuff, because there's times where I'm like, there's no way that's CGI, and then it's like it is CGI, and you're just like, fuck, dude, like they really played it, right? It's crazy. And then you see movies like The Flash. Anyways, but that's gonna wrap up our episode for today. If there's anything that we didn't talk about, a movie that you want us to review, something we should have said but we didn't. If you want to support us in a big way, Josh, can you go ahead and let them know where they can let us know so we can respond back to them and then they can talk back to us, but at the same time not argue with us, but at the same time do that.
Okay. No, don't follow. No, I'm saying. Follow us, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post when new episodes are up, and you can engage with us there. I promise we won't argue and all that other shit with you. Unless you come back starting drama, but, you kind of deserve it after that.
Oh, yeah. We're not going to fight with you, but if you come at us, we clapping back.
It's two different things. It's self-defense at that point. But listen to us on the go with Spotify and Apple Podcasts or anywhere you get your podcast at FilmBros Podcast. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Links are in those bios. When you subscribe, you get special perks. And you get shout-outs for when on these episodes, sorry. And when it's all said and done, subscribe to our YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.